Good afternoon and welcome, or good morning, or good evening, and welcome to our new show called The Center at Home. We are here coming to you wherever you are, probably your home, most likely
Hopefully
your
your
home.
home.
Most likely your home.
Right.
And we really kind of wanted to design this program to be, to give you an opportunity to express yourselves as a group, as a community, and to give you options for stuff you could do at home, and to really kind of create a sense of community for all of us to kind of be together. I mean, we're kind of forcibly apart now, and it's really become an issue for a lot of people. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. There certainly is in our home.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And so we wanted to build a show that originally I think the idea was to build a show that that could enable people to understand what we do at the center. And this kind of morphed when this unexpected situation happened, and we wanted it to allow us to kind of give you the opportunity at home to express yourselves, and to have someone that you can look forward to who can express maybe how you're feeling, and as a collective group. I know everyone's situation is different, but I think we're all kind of going through the same thing right now. And I mean, it's been interesting in our home.
Definitely. I think our one of our main purposes of doing what we're doing is to have all the people who might be single moms, might feel very alone and scared and anxiety ridden. There's so much uncertainty in what's going on right now, and we want to try to create some kind of our community in your home, and having a piece of that be just sharing our daily experiences. Matt and I have 4 kids at home right now. And it's been very difficult. It's been a lot of tears, a lot of anxiety attacks, a lot of
And
meals.
not just from our kids.
A lot of meals.
Not just from our kids.
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
us.
I mean, I know one of the main issues that so many parents that I've spoken to have talked about is insomnia. And you kind of give yourself allowance after the kids go to bed to let it kind of all hang out and really start spinning on your fears. And I know that both Matt and I have had trouble sleeping, and when your kids wake you up at 5 a.m., special needs kids, they're going to wake you up. They don't care if you're spinning it all night long. So,
sometimes it's me waking you up at 5 a.m. though.
Very, very frequently,
Yeah.
It's you. But we just want to be here for you. We love our community. Our community has helped us create this beautiful center, and we want to give back to you guys in any way we can. And this is the best thing we can do for you right now, is just help you and support you in any way we can, be there for you.
Now, aside from this podcast that we're going to be doing, you're going to see a ton of content come up on our YouTube page and our Facebook and our Twitter. We've asked all of our specialists who do classes here at the center to do videos, or some of them will even actually be doing live classes, and they'll all come to you in your home. It's really important for us to look forward to things like that. And I know for a lot of our kids, they look forward to coming to the center on Saturdays, or to the center on Tuesdays, whatever class they were in. And this is an opportunity to kind of not coming to the center, they can actually take part in what used to happen at the center.
See their
and
friends,
that what
see
will
their
happen again at the
specialists.
center. And really have a 15-minute journey away from what's going on at home, even though it's happening at home. What programs do we have that people can take advantage of at home now?
We have music therapist Judy Langdon, who is also our camp director this year. I'm very excited about that. We're going to bring our camp back to our original kind of music-based camp. and Judy is amazing. She's so uplifting. She's the perfect antidote to the coronavirus. Honestly, it's Judy Langdon extraordinaire. We're going to have an amazing physical workout with our center fitness coach, Liz, who is going to help us work off some of these extra calories that we're all ingesting on a daily basis, sometimes hourly basis. And Liz is amazing. She'll get your blood running. And she is going to be coming and teaching us some physical fitness that you can do in your home with your kids.
All right.
Who else, Matt?
We also have Alan Bruni.
Wonderful Alan.
And Remo Drums, the Remo Drum Circle. That's really a popular class that happens every Saturday at the center. And Alan is going to be doing videos that'll come out to you probably once a week. Shauna is going to be doing yoga.
With Shauna. And Shauna is an amazing yoga instructor that has been teaching with our community and with special needs kids for over a decade. She's worked in the help group for many years. She's an amazing teacher, just an amazing spirit altogether, and very uplifting and very centering. So Shauna's going to be coming in weekly and doing a Zoom yoga class from her home, which I'm very excited about. We're also, Matt and I are going to talk just a little bit about our everyday life and our family segment. I think people have really asked for kind of some tips and ideas. I mean, every day something is different. When you have 4 kids and you're trying to keep all the balls in the air, I think we can really relate to a lot of people that are homebound with special needs kids, especially because of the weather. I think if we could go out every day, it really wouldn't have been such a hard week. But the fact that we were all cooped up.
I mean, if we can go outside every day.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Not out.
Out, not to the beach, which is very hard for me not to go to. But we stay home, but I think just our segments of relations and family and. As much as I love my husband, but being with your husband, no matter how much you love him, 24 hours a day, can be difficult, and that's okay. And I think a lot of times, moms in particular, would like to figure out a way to have our mom support groups continuing. We're working now to get a Zoom account. We have a lot of moms in our support group, so I'm trying very hard to make that so it would be something that we can all hear each other and it wouldn't be chaotic. So I'm working very hard to get that going.
Next week we're going to be doing our first movie chat, which is going to be for the community. The first one's going to be Groundhog Day, and will take place on Sunday at 7:00. And basically you watch the film and you talk about it. So you watch the film before you do the chat, but then you chat about the film.
And I'm excited.
Chelsea Darnell.
I'm excited that Chelsea, who's our 18 and over social club director, who's also an autistic adult and has been helping me create, and myself and Chrisa Saad, who's our mental health director, create our monthly 18 and over social groups really organically and helping us understand what autistic individuals and special needs individuals want. I think it's a unique group that has not been formed before, where we're having autistic adults really create these programs like our LGBTQIA support group, which is run by 2 autistic adults. And it's just important that we feel that we're including the community, and Chelsea's wonderful, and she's going to be amazing in this movie review.
Movie chat. And oh dear, someone's
calling you.
Someone's calling me in the middle of this. So I want to take a few minutes, and I want to talk to you and have an open discussion here.
We were not social distancing.
Well, let me explain that first of all. You see, we're sitting pretty close together here. We're not really supposed to be doing that now, but we're married.
I think it's fine.
You and I. We're in trouble, if we can't socially be together.
Sure.
So
Social
see, now
skills.
it's you. Now he's calling you. All right. So let me ask you this. So, what to you has been the hardest thing about this past week? So we've been basically homebound for a week. Center's been closed for a week. We've been really kind of homebound. We haven't been doing anything.
Maybe you haven't been doing anything. I've been doing a hell of a lot.
What's the
That's
hardest
typical,
thing?
isn't it,
What's the
ladies?
hardest thing? What's the hardest thing about what's been going on?
Well, I mean, the hardest thing, nothing else matters.
You spoke about anxiety. So
Yeah, but nothing else matters. Nothing else matters as much as health to me.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that there's this uncertainty and this condition, this disease, this condition that we could get at any time. But it's the uncertainty, I think, for me is the hardest part, and not knowing what tomorrow's going to bring. I uniquely can handle it because of my childhood, and some of you guys know how I was raised, and I lived a very unique life, and uncertainty is kind of like a norm to me, but for the kids, it's not. And so even with typical children, keeping their sense of reality even-keeled and not bringing the panic mode into our world is my highest priority. You know, I don't want the kids to watch the news. I don't want them to...
even though that's all I watch.
Well, I have to shut you down.
No,
Matt
I know.
Asner. I have to shut you down
I know,
at times.
but it's hard not to watch the news because I want to know
Yeah,
what's
but we
going
can
on.
watch it alone.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when it's just you and I don't want to bring that sense of panic. And I think one of the things most parents have asked us, and we're going to read some questions in a little bit, is that, you know, how do you deal with a special needs level of anxiety and a special needs brain that when you're trying to explain to them, sometimes a nonverbal child, why their day-to-day schedule is so different, and it just doesn't make sense.
And like you said, we're going to talk about that a little more with some questions here. But, you know, for me, definitely the uncertainty. Definitely the uncertainty. We've never seen anything like this. This is all new. It's all new to us. We're all going through the same thing at the same pace, you know, and it's all uncharted territory. I think it's difficult to get a grasp.
I can imagine it's what people in the 40s were going through.
Yes and no. I mean, it's...
Well, in the 40s, our parents told us that they were told at any time they could be bombed. At any time,
I think there's definitely
the Nazis were going to come and invade New York.
Yeah.
So the sense of uncertainty and fear was very similar.
Certainly. No, I mean, from my life experience viewpoint, I think 9/11 would be the closest.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
But that was a few days of complete uncertainty, and you kind of felt, you know, there was some kind of return to normalcy that happened.
Yeah.
After a week.
Yeah.
You know, I remember I went to New York a week later or something like that, and it was kind of back to business as usual.
Yeah.
It's not back to business as usual
No.
now. It's really not, and so a lot of people have to adapt, and I would say this, you know, one of the hardest things for anyone is changing and learning new ways of doing things, and this is a challenge for everyone, and I think we all have to understand that it's a challenge for everyone. It's not just a challenge for parents. It's not just a challenge for individuals, you know, on the spectrum or off the spectrum.
Or teachers. I mean, I know a lot of parents are flipping out because the teachers haven't given them what they wanted as far as, you know, a daily... There's LAUSD and then there's private schools and
Well, that's the thing. That's another thing.
I think everyone needs to give everyone a break.
You're sending home these lesson plans and expecting parents to homeschool their children like that. And it's not going to happen like that. I mean, I think people need to adapt, and they need to do it on their own terms. And there's a relationship that exists between parents and children that doesn't exist with teachers and students. Mm-hmm. And there's a dynamic there that's not involved with a teacher. So I think everyone has to have a lot of patience when dealing with this. And I really don't know what's going to happen in regards to school. I know that
It's very scary.
We're probably not going to be back this year. When I say this year, I mean this school year. So this will stretch into summer vacation. And what happens? What happens next year? What happens when you go from 9th to 10th grade? What happens when you go from junior high to high school, middle school to high school? I mean, what happens? What there's a lot of unanswered questions that in the next couple of months will be answered. But it's difficult to exist without those questions answered. So, but we need to have patience right now. We need to count on each other. We need to rely on each other. We need to have each other's backs, and we need to push each other together into this uncharted territory, because we're all going to be okay. Even if we're not okay, we'll be okay, and we'll get through this, and we'll get through this. And we're hoping that we can be a help in that department.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a little break, and then Navah and I are going to be back, and we're going to read some questions that some future viewers, because this is the first time we've done this, some future viewers have, and we're going to read them and kind of talk about them. And then we're going to bring in our Director of Mental Health, Chrisa Saad, who will talk about another aspect of the Ed Asner Family Center that you can take advantage of right now. Actually, while we're in this situation, you can take advantage. One part of the center is still open for business in a big way, and we'll tell you about that when Chrisa joins us. So until we get back, we'll be right back. I'm Matt, and this is Navah. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to the Center at Home, the new show where we bring the center to you at home. And we're talking about anxiety and about what's going on in our world right now.
Uncertainty.
Families.
Family issues.
Family issues. And so we asked a lot of our friends and part of the community to ask us questions about what you'd want to answer in this situation. So I'm going to read some, and we can talk about it, open discussion about it. And
how do people ask questions for our next show?
If you want to ask a question, you can actually go to our Twitter, which is at Ed Asner Center, I believe. Is that right? And or Facebook. You can find the Ed Asner Center Facebook page, and just send us a message on there and ask us that question that you want answered. So, I mean, a lot of these questions, I'm going to put on my glasses now because my eyes are terrible. A lot of these questions are what you'd expect. I mean, there's a lot of anxiety. So I'm just going to read a couple of them. For us on the spectrum, change can be difficult and scary, but I think it helps if we just know the facts. Nothing but the straight facts, and that this will not last forever, or more specific, like a couple of months, etc. And that's from Danny. And then I have another one from another young woman on the spectrum. I read the news, and it has helped me reduce my anxiety, knowing that the stay in our homes order is only until April 19th, and that hopefully this will all die down by April, because April is normally when flu season ends. This is her adding to that. There have been times where I've been depressed and have cried a few times because I can't go anywhere, but I try to remain positive about it day to day, and that's from Evan. And so
I want to answer Evan's. Hi, Evan. Evan is also one of my camp ed counselors who I love. But I wanted to tell Evan a little story about anxiety and uncertainty and just frustration. I think it's a lot about frustration and having to change your daily routine that especially kids on the spectrum, they need that structure, and we all need the structure. I definitely need the structure. The other day, our youngest, who is not only autistic, but he's also going through puberty, and everything he wants to do, I have to explain to him why we can't do it. And he says to me, finally at the end in tears, he's so frustrated, and he says, "Mommy, why did you create the coronavirus? You're ruining my life, Mommy. Why did you create this?" and it's silly.
It's your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault. But I understand what he's talking about because he can't really comprehend where did this come from? Where did this thing, this word, to him it's the coronavirus is an unknown. It could be, Felix the cat. But to him, it's something that adults have created that have, his teacher is telling him because of the coronavirus you can't do this. And mommy is saying because of the coronavirus you can't go to the bowling alley. He wants to go to the bowling alley.
It's become the devil.
Yes. And so his frustrations are normal, but, add the autistic element into them and they become constant. They become, tantruming again, even for a big boy like Eddie. He kind of just regresses a little bit. And I think we all regress in some way when we're just inundated with anxiety on a chronic level.
Well, I'll speak for myself. I came into the living room the other day, and a fort had been built in our living room.
A beautiful fort that saved our lives in the rainy.
No, I know, but
by our daughter, beautiful.
I said to Navah, I don't think I can deal with this.
He's like, the cardboard.
It's
well, how long is that cardboard going to be here?
Massive fort that darkened the room such a drastic way, and it really became very difficult for me to be in there. So, it's anxiety inducing.
Absolutely. But back to Evan's question, I think Evan, it's really about getting on your computer and talking to your friends and not feeling like you're alone, and really not letting the social distancing stop your social fun, and just speaking to your friends, not just keeping yourself solitary. You don't have to go out, but you can still do, our middle guy, Wolfie, he watches Netflix movies with his friends, and they all are literally talking about the movie while they're watching this movie. And the other night I heard him laughing and they were having so much fun. And finally I go in there, I go, who are you? Wolfie? I expected there were going to be people in there with him, and he was having a great time.
What is that? There's
Netflix,
a new feature. There's a new feature on Netflix that allows you to watch films with a bunch of people. And it's like Netflix Party or something.
Yeah,
like
Netflix
that.
Party. And it's awesome. I mean, I think Evan could do that with her friends and really, really, not feel like you're alone. And that's the main thing. And the thing is, and it's very frustrating, it might not end on April 19th like Evan's counting down the days. I know so many kids, because of the structure of that date, they're counting down the days on their calendar, and that can be very frustrating.
And it's unfortunately, I'm gonna get on my little soapbox here. I'm sorry, but unfortunately, we get into a situation where we listen to so many different people, and our leaders are telling us certain things, and they're telling us different things. And I think that becomes something that gets very frustrating. And I mean, for me, it gets frustrating, and for Navah too, and everyone. And we can't follow the leader, so to speak. And I think that becomes something that's very unsettling and frustrating. And my advice there is, honestly, just breathe,
and take
listen,
it day
listen
by day.
to logic, listen to people who are being logical.
Yeah.
And take the people who are not being logical and really discount them.
But I think also not taking the situation in long-term bites, to take it in little small bites, daily bites, and not really allow yourself, especially on a
that's difficult to do though as an adult. It's difficult to not take it in in a big way.
But you have to.
I agree.
You have to do it.
But that's a hard thing. I've never been able to do that.
Oh, I know that. I'm aware of that.
I've never been able to kind of look at something and take a little bite out of it.
I rein you in.
No, but it's...
You rein me in when my OCD is in such high... I can't bear to not be going all the time when I'm not working. So I've gone from room to room, reorganizing, cleaning,
but
basically not stopping.
In terms of business, business and work, and people working, and people losing their jobs, and people not sure whether they're going to lose their jobs, people not sure whether they're going to lose their businesses.
Yeah.
how do we navigate that anxiety? How do we navigate that problem in our life? Because if this does go on longer than April 19th, if it and there's sane minds are saying it could. If this does go beyond April 19th, where does that leave us as individuals and our business owners and business business people? Where does that leave us? And I think we need to. That's a scary thing. It's a scary place to be.
Scary.
And I think, like I said before, we need to just kind of have each other's backs and really kind of understand that everyone's in the same boat. There's this great uncertainty that exists right now that we don't deal with very well, but we've got to adjust a little bit and really kind of go through this together. And
do we have time for one more question before we bring Chris on?
We do. I'm gonna kind of speed through this and see. We have a lot of questions, and I just think I want to read one quick thing that Sean wrote, our friend Sean, and this is actually just an affirmation. Really,
Okay.
I mean, it says he wants to remind people that throughout this, that though this is serious, all adversity brings a seed of equal or greater value if we look for it. So I think we all want to look for that. We want to look for that seed of greater value and kind of use it to propel us through this. Use it to move us through this adversity, because that's what this is. This is adversity. And everyone's going through this adversity at the same time. It's not like Frank lost his job and he's out of a job and he's got a family to feed. Everyone's in the same position here. Mm-hmm. We're all going through this together. This is adversity. This is collective adversity. And we just need to have each other's backs, and we need to be kind to each other, and we need to move through this together.
And I think as a community, we need to ask each other for help. Some people are really struggling on a daily basis, and we can't help you unless you ask for help. And I think it's time to lower everyone's defenses and egos and say, hey, I need help, and your community will rise to help you. And I think I've seen that a lot with just my mom's group and friends that I know that really it's very difficult for them to shop, and a lot of people are helping them with things like that. But just ask for help. I think that your community will rise to it. If you're in a situation where maybe you're sick, or you have a immune compromised child, or you just you need help. Even if it's just to have somebody to talk to. So please call me, please call us, and let us know how we can help you.
I'm going to read one more question,
okay,
and then we'll bring Chris in.
And then we'll bring Chris on.
And I just want to make an observation. People are probably watching this and thinking, Matt has touched his face like 90 times during this whole thing, and it's crazy.
But I wipe him down
because
I wipe him. I put these in.
The one thing I'm realizing is how many times I'm touching my face.
Can I put these in your
during
eyes?
The day. No, it's bleach. How many times I'm touching my face during the day, and I've got to. I'm working on it. So this is from Danielle. And Danielle says Lucas does not understand social distancing, which for many people on the spectrum is a way of life. He's very worried that everything is closed and will never reopen like Disneyland.
Yeah, sounds like Eddie.
Also, time and organization are two complex issues. How does one organize their time in a productive manner? So we start the day by getting dressed and groomed, then a bit of yoga or exercise, then free time while I prepare lunch, writing songs, watching a documentary a day and discussing it, or looking at museums online. More free time, taking a long walk, and about 3 to 4 miles. So she's giving some answers here on what she can do, but Navah?
She's got it. I don't have any edits. I mean, we should all be so
proactive.
I think that's amazing, and I think that most parents are being too hard on themselves, and they need to just absolutely take it day by day and do what's best for your particular family. Don't listen to Jane Smith on Facebook saying she's creating all these recipes and baking this, that, and the other. Whatever gets your family through each day without, people burning down the house or filing divorce papers, you've won. I mean, this is an unusual situation, and we're all in this together, and nobody's doing it a wrong way. You're doing it as best you can, and everyone needs to give each other a break and not take, not put so much extra unneeded pressure on themselves in this already, very, very uncertain time.
Okay, we're going to take another break. I got one thing to say before we go on the break, though, and this helps a lot. Cookies. That helps a lot.
Girl Scout cookies.
So whatever you do, eat cookies. Right?
I'd rather have a nice glass of wine.
Okay, wine, cookies.
Yeah.
It's in the same category, right? But what I'm saying is, don't think about it.
Yeah.
If you're on a diet, don't go on a diet right now.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it right now. Don't try and do anything big right now. Just get through the day, have your cookie, have your glass of wine, get through the day.
Yes.
We'll be right back with the Director of Mental Health for the Ed Asner Family Center, Chrisa Saad. Hi, and welcome back to Center at Home. I'm Matt Asner, and this is Navah Asner. And like I said, we're here. We're going to be here every week, bringing you comfort, hopefully, and talking about things, support, and talking about things that are concerning to you about our situation, about what's going on, and talking about what we're doing at the center. To interact with us, to communicate with us, you can go to Facebook and look at our Facebook page, which is Ed Asner Family Center on Facebook, or you could go to Twitter, which is Ed Asner Center on Twitter, and you can communicate with us that way. Or you could write us at info@edasnerfamilycenter.org. To our right is Chrisa Saad, who is our Director of Mental Health at the Ed Asner Family Center. Chrisa, wow.
I've been busy.
We're really in it now, aren't we?
We're very much in it. And just to start off, there are just so many feelings and thoughts that people are having, and not only anxiety and fear, uncertainty, but also anger. And all of these feelings are really common. We're all going through it, some more than others. We're experiencing a heightened sense of anxiety all day, throughout the day, sleepless nights. Some people are coping really well. So let's talk about some of those techniques and things that we can do to help each other out, help yourself out, help your family out, so you're not stuck in anxiety and worry all day.
Well, and that seems to be the operative word, anxiety. And, none of us have ever been in this situation before.
Right. So it's the uncertainty, the surreal part of it. Is this really happening? Also, is there, who should I be mad at? Is there somebody that's tangible that I could see to direct my anger towards? Children might go, wait, why do I have to make all these changes in my life? Why is this happening? Something that they just can't see and they can't really grab onto. So it's an unforeseen enemy.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who are angry. And I don't think that's wrong.
No, it's very, very common.
Perfectly okay to be angry.
It's
what do we do with that anger? How do we get through that anger, and who do we direct that? Yeah, I mean, we don't want to direct it at our family members, do we?
Yeah.
We want to place it in a way that it makes sense for everyone.
Well, one of the ways is to really honor how you're feeling. So first of all, you want to notice that you're having anxiety. Yes, we have anxiety and fear and all that, but instead of pushing it away or ignoring it, we want to be in it, and we want to normalize it. So we want to do that with our kids as well. Young adults, people with special needs, we want to say it's perfectly okay to feel the way that you're feeling. And it's okay and it's understandable to be angry that, school's closed, you don't get to see your friends. Life has changed, and we have to be really flexible because we're having daily changes, weekly changes, whatever the task force or the CDC says, we have to adapt.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard for the special needs population to really shift that.
And I'm going to say it's not just the change. It's the fact that now parents are going to be homeschooling their kids as of I think this week, and like I said before, that's a dynamic that's sometimes not really conductive to peaceful life, you know.
Especially when you have more than one kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
You know,
you've got,
when you have-
yeah, that's true.
When you have
actually very
3 or
true.
4 schools, I talked to a mom the other day. She
Yeah.
has 4 children, 4 different schools. You know, each child has different teachers, and the amount of pressure this one lady is under is it's ridiculous, and it seems unnecessary because things are not going to be normal, and the homework load should not be the same, and you know, simple things that we take for granted as special needs parents, you know, when you have a child who is specific to what they will and won't eat, their dietary you know, absolutes,
Right.
when you go to the store and you know, everything's barren.
The chicken nuggets are
Where's
not
their
in the
chicken
freezer.
Where's their Cheez-Its or their cheese?
Oh, I stocked
cheesy
up on Cheez-Its,
goldfish.
Chrisa. I stocked up on Cheez-Its.
But yeah, so routines are different. Life is different.
Yeah, frustrations are at a high.
Parents are wearing multiple hats.
Yeah.
They're educators now, they're entertainment directors, and
Yeah.
they're trying to work. So all of that's shifted. And so when you talked about anger, you can see it in different ways, especially with children or people that aren't easily able to express their feelings and emotions. They might be picking fights more. They might be more self-injurious, or they might show it in different ways. So just be vigilant about that. How is my kid really expressing themselves if they're not able to verbalize what how frustrated they are, or how
Right.
things are so
the
different.
behaviors are through the roof because
And everyone's frustrated. I mean, I've had moments of incredible
tantrums. He's had
frustration.
major
Not
tantrums,
but
it's okay.
no, but I mean, I've had, you know, we're in this great uncertainty,
Yeah.
and it's scary, and it's a place that none of us, like I keep saying, none of us have ever been there, and we've all had that in our lives here and there. We had been dealt bad, you know, some bad cards. We got to deal with it. We got to figure it out. We do.
Yes.
But this is like, wow, this is big. This is not just.
It's bigger than
Yeah.
anybody, in even our parents and grandparents, you know.
So our parents
Have
you know,
been through.
Not our parents, but you know, parents and children are having the same kind of uncertainty.
Well, it's like what you said earlier, how people really take the pressure off yourself and let yourself just do your best. You really have to be compassionate and kind to yourself right
Yeah.
now. And parents have to continue some sort of routine that makes them feel good, whether it's exercise. You know, if you're a 2-parent family, really ask for some time off. If you can do that, have your own self-care time.
Yeah.
And then also...
How do we do that though?
Well, I know a mom.
How do we do that?
I know a mom.
How do we have self-care time?
You ask
when
if
we're
you
all
need
in
10
one room
minutes.
together?
I know a mom who literally, her husband lets her, but
They
she
have a
takes
collaborative
this
partnership.
1 hour time block, and she gets in her car and she just drives around.
Okay.
Maybe
And she
she's
listens to
rocking
her
out to
music.
music, yeah.
She's
Yeah.
calling her
So
friends, whatever.
so it's how you design your space as
Yeah.
well. You have a lot of children at
Yeah.
home. So you want to design your space so that it's conducive to being successful. You know, set a schedule that from this time to this time we're going to do some exercises. There's tons of stuff on the internet,
But you said a really important point, Chrisa, which is if you're a 2-parent, I mean, I talk to so many single moms, and the scariest thing is this feeling like, what happens if I get sick? You know, what happens if I get sick and I'm the only one who can take care of my child? You know, just the feeling of loneliness and when you're in that
and the uncertainty
in that
of the
spin,
what if.
yeah, and being alone and not having somebody else to really be there and take you down when you start to spin. I think those are the parents who, more so than anybody else, really need to ask for help and join our community and really not feel like they're by themselves.
Correct. But the other part there as well is when you're in the what if, you can really churn and burn. And you want to really stay in the moment and say, for right now, everything's okay. And
Churn and burn.
Churn
I love
and
that.
burn.
I'm making butter like every day. I'm churning.
Yes.
All night.
It's the thoughts.
Churning, burning.
Churn and burn.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that I'm doing that. You have to really honor it in your body.
Yeah.
Where am I feeling most activated? And then in your thoughts, you have to stop yourself and say, you know what, I don't need to do this right now.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm okay right now. And if you take safety precautions and, like what we're doing, and, you keep your hands clean, if you have to go to the market, all those safety precautions, you could sort of do an inventory. I'm doing the best I can right now. I'm all right. So that phrase, I'm okay right now, that one day at a time is really important, so that you don't go forward and say, what if? We all do the what if spin cycle. And so just reel it back in.
Right. The positive mantra. Wasn't Nina talking about, Nina was
Well, I
talking
think
this
we all have
morning
to be
about the
positive
positive
right now,
mantra.
that's for sure.
And I have to comment on your cookie comment. Really, eating healthy is important. You want to keep your immune system up.
But you want to be able to eat cookies.
You do want to feel
I don't
good.
think people are thinking. I think that
glass of wine.
You want to feel
I
good.
think
I'm not having a glass of wine.
one thing I think a lot of parents are doing, just out of necessity, is that they're cooking more. I mean, I know that one of the things my kids are really loving, I hate to say loving about the corona, but
No, you can. There's beautiful
is a
things
positive.
that can come
Yeah,
out
Actually,
of
that
this.
is a very
well, the
positive
rabbi
thing.
said that the other day. They said, what is the
What
one
is
thing
the
about
beautiful things
about this situation that's a positive?
that
And to
are
me,
emerging? Yeah.
being with my family when I'm working
Yes.
7 days a week for the last year and cooking again, there, maybe I'm making 6 meals a day, but it's having that familial interaction and support and warmth that we really, when you're, working parents and getting your own business going, you forget how much you miss that. And it's a lot of work, but it's also, there's some wonderful parts of it. And
Absolutely. Yes, and we can't forget that. Look, we can also be in a very negative space in fear and anxiety, but we can also turn it around and say, wow, this is a really unique opportunity for me to call that person that I really haven't talked to in a while and reach out to someone and get to know your family again, or have fun stuff going on like cooking, and involve the kids. Involve whoever you need to help motivate them and to have them feel normal and grounded in your day. Maybe your son Will would really enjoy cooking.
well, he's been painting like
Yeah, he
daily
really
with
has.
Aviva, and she set up a whole painting area for him. And each kid really has his own thing that he does or she does. We're very, very lucky that we have our eldest living with us, and she's incredibly artistic. And I don't know if you guys all saw
She's
her
so inventive.
fort, but she made Eddie this gigantic pyramid. It was about 6 feet by 8 feet pyramid.
It produced a lot of anxiety in me.
Produced a lot of anxiety in Matt. But I think you have to make the best of each day, and each day is different, and that's what's so scary, is we never know what tomorrow's going to bring. And I think separating as much as you can. I don't let the kids go with me at all ever to the store. I go by myself. I think seeing such a difference visually is a trigger for children, and I think seeing those empty shelves is really hard for kids. I see a lot of parents with their kids in the store, and I don't think it's a good idea. And it's some mom alone time, or dad alone time. Yeah. I think it's important that parents go to the stores by themselves. Why even subject your kids to extra germs if you can? But I mean, it's the little things that you can do that are self-care also, but also,
So I know earlier you talked about how Eddie was blaming you for the corona.
Yeah. Oh my God.
How do you really...
And I'm trying to keep a straight face because he's crying. The more I smile or he gets more frustrated. But he really, it was it was just one of those days where everything he wanted to do, I would have to say, Eddie, we can't do that because, and he went from the bowling alley to Disneyland, going back to Danielle and Lucas, everything that he wanted to do, he couldn't do because of the corona.
No movie theater.
And so finally he's decided that the corona itself must be something that I created. And Mommy, why did you create the coronavirus, Mommy? Why did you do this, Mommy? And
So how did you explain it to him?
It was hard. I mean, I think for me, the easiest way to explain to Eddie and to the kids is, this is the winter, and every winter people get sick, and this is the first time where the sickness that's going around the world is really dangerous. It could kill us, and it can kill people that we love, like our Zadie. He's a 90-year-old man, and so we have to be very careful. And the only way, and the thing is, there's this fine line between explaining the situation and really scaring them to the point where
Yes.
you really, and it's very difficult, and it's very, especially when they keep asking you
They
questions.
will parrot you back, and they will use your
Right.
words and say, but you said. And so,
Yes.
and also meeting them, I think, on their level, whatever their age,
Or ability.
is, and how to really explain that is important too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I've talked to a few people. A couple of questions that we had pertain to stimming, and things that their kids do that now are really inappropriate, given the social circumstances and the circumstances with the coronavirus. So one person asked about stimming with saliva, and I'm not really sure how their child does that, but stimming with spit or saliva, or I'll give an example with Will. Will's very affectionate, likes to hug, he likes to snuggle, he likes to rub his face on me, and it's,
Lick.
I doesn't really lick, really.
He licks me.
Really?
My cheek, yeah.
Oh, well.
Not anymore. I don't let him do that.
But I mean, okay, so that's a good example then.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with that?
Well, that's
and
sensory.
I've had a situation where, I've said I hang out with him at night, and I got to a point where I'm like, that's too close, man. You cannot do that anymore. You've got to take a break from that. We can't do it. And it's so hard for him to make that connection and to catch himself, because it's all a part of who he is. So how do we deal with that? How do we deal with that part of it?
Right. Well, look at us. We're still touching our face, and we're
I am.
a week, 10 days into this, and we're trying to stop that behavior.
You have an itch on your nose.
Right.
You-
And then the saliva sensory, it's probably sensory input that with the saliva. And so is there a way to replace that same sensation, that maybe water play or some type of jello play or something that they can play, and so they try to keep their hands out of their mouth? Maybe it's a replacement behavior. Or in terms of your son, is there something that, is he pushing, and why is he pushing and rubbing his face on you? Is that a sensory input, and can you replace that with something else, like a weighted blanket?
Yeah.
Or hugging a pillow instead? I know, but then the emotional piece.
Right.
How do you tell Will, I can't give you affection right now? So you can just say, imagine, let's hug a pillow together. I'm going to hug a pillow. Let's imagine that we're hugging. So maybe you can replace that.
That's good.
And still mentally give him an idea, creative, imagine what would it feels like to be hugging me right now. Which we could do with people via Zoom or
Right.
Skype or whatever.
Absolutely.
With your mother. Mom, let's hug pillows together. Okay, I'm hugging my pillow, we're really hugging each other.
Yeah.
So just trying to create that imaginary place.
Her mom is really in a spot.
Yeah.
Her mom's at a residential place, and she's not allowed to leave her room. And
They started with not being able to leave the
Facility, right?
facility or have even family members visit, and now they're on full lockdown. They can't even leave their room. So
nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I was gonna say, and I could be totally wrong, but what about for the saliva guy? Because for Eddie's calming thing has always been water.
Oh.
What are you gonna do in the middle of winter? Our pool's freezing cold. I give him a baths. When he gets to a point of no return,
one.
so to speak,
Yeah.
he takes baths and he completely relaxes. He lays in the bath, he relaxes. For my saliva guy, I would say put him in the bath, give him a bar of soap. He's going to taste the soap, and maybe he can't have soap. Maybe some kids have the pica. But he could do, he's clean. He can have his stim time, and maybe have the stim time specific to bath time.
Or as you were just explaining
Yeah.
everything, it's really good. Replacement behavior.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those water bottles with the straw in it, and maybe he can suck
It's
in the
the
water
mouth.
and chew on
Yeah.
the straw, which kind of gives
Because
sensory input to the
even
mouth,
our chewy toys that so many of the community use,
which is hard because you have to clean them all the time.
and not only that, you're touching them with your hands. It's a thing. That would
Yeah.
defeat the purpose, I think. So, but replacement behaviors, taking it day by day, not being so hard on yourself, doing as best as you can. We're all gonna have anxiety. Call your friend. What are you doing tonight, Chrisa? Tell us about what you're doing tonight.
I'm doing a Zoom wine party with my girlfriends.
Exactly.
Because we're all just missing each other,
Yeah.
and you can join if you'd like.
Well, I might do that.
Okay.
So, I think we should really ask our community members and everyone who's watching to really write to us and help us
Yes.
answer your questions and what do you want to see on the center show, and how can we be of service to you, and that's what we want to do. We want to help everyone get through this horribly difficult time, and the most important thing is just staying safe and staying healthy and staying at home and washing your hands.
Exactly, and that leads me to our next little segment, which is I want to talk about mental health, and and so one Bob B wrote us and said there's so much attention being paid to physical health now, and very little about mental health assistance. How are people dealing with that? Remote therapy visits, meditation, sleep, exercise, family time. How do you avoid getting depressed while isolated from society? And this is a perfect question for you, and you can explain a little bit about what we're doing at the center during this time, because part of the center is counseling. We have counseling services at the center.
Yes.
And through our partnership with CSUN, and so Chrisa, talk a little bit about what we're doing and what other people can do to kind of combat that.
Well, one of the things that we're doing currently is our therapists are offering sessions via telephone or telehealth, which is a video session. So it's very different because usually during therapy, if you've gone to therapy, it's about the physical, the relationship in the room and seeing someone face to face and really having that connection, noticing your body language, and there's a sense of energy here. We can really feel that. But when you move to another medium, it's very different. And but what I'm finding is my clients are really enjoying the phone sessions. They feel a little bit more liberated. They feel like they could just be in a different environment. And some people are very self-conscious with video. So the phone session's a good option for people. In terms of the question, feeling depressed, being isolated, you're going to have to be your own good parent. You're going to have to be your own good therapist. There's resources out there that we can help provide people with and support. And so yes, but it is about physical well-being, but that physical well-being can also translate into a good mental state. So, eating healthy, that's my thing. Getting out to walk in the sunshine if you can. Just changing your environment really helps change your outlook. Reaching out to friends, that's so important. Reaching out to us, what can we do to help? Knowing that you're not alone really helps to begin to alleviate the depression. Yes, you're going to have moments, but you also have to honor yourself and say, you know what, I see you depression, I see you anxiety, I know you're there, I know you're looming over here with this cloud right now, and I'm gonna just feel that, and then I'm gonna try to shift that. So how do you shift? You can even, people do body awareness, which is yoga and breathing. So we are mind, body, soul. We do our physical. We're not separate. We're one. And so if we can shift, the mental states through physical activities and cognitive awareness, then we can really start to maybe feel a little bit lighter, a little better.
Definitely.
So if someone wants to take advantage of what we're offering, how would they do that? How would they take advantage of a telehealth session?
So by all means, give me a call. I'm doing intakes and I'm doing placement, and so please give us a call at 818-855-2199. And then there's also the website that has links to different services here, right?
And your email.
And my
Give
email, Chrisa, CHRISA at edasnerfamilycenter.org.
Okay. So it's important to do this right now. It's important to talk to people.
I think we need to do this every week.
Yeah.
We really need to be out there for our community, and just because we really, that's what we're about, being of service.
All right. Well, I think
It's
time to say goodnight.
goodbye to all our family, and we're going to be here every week. Please write to us, text us, email us, and send us your questions. So we'll be ready to go for next week when we're ready to see you again.
And you can do that at Facebook at Asner Family Center, or you can do it at Twitter at Asner Center, or you could do it at info@edasnerfamilycenter.org. Or you can call us at the main number, or you can call Chrisa.
My number, yeah.
What's that number again?
818-855-2199.
And what's the email again?
Chrisa, CHRISA at edasnerfamilycenter.org.
It's been a great hour and change, maybe. I'm really happy we're doing this.
Yeah.
We need this as much as you. We hope you'll join us every week. And we will see you next week. From Navah and myself, I say thank you. We will see you at the center.
Stay
at home
healthy, wash your hands,
next week.
give yourself a break.
Bye-bye.